I just got promoted to Director of Solutions for a cybersecurity company, and I'm going to tell you what my journey was to get there. In 2020, I was an Information Security Analyst 3, wasn't even 5, and I was doing a whole bunch of complex troubleshooting. Everything about my job was senior level work. In fact, I've been in networking. I pretty much worked in every area of the company, and then every time something that broke, I was the one doing all of the troubleshooting through the firewall because I was the firewall administrator and just figuring out all the stuff, man. And so, not to mention, in addition to that, I was kind of like the liaison for the FBI. So anytime we had an incident, I'd be the person that would kind of be able to reach out to contact the FBI. Even had the FBI come in several times to work on different investigations and incidents that we were working. So anyway, I was doing senior level stuff, but I was only an Information Security Analyst 3. I think maybe I got 4 before I left. And honestly, the company, I don't know why, but for some reason, they were willing for me to do the senior work, but they just didn't want to give me a senior title. And I never understood that. Kind of always felt some type of way. There are people that were definitely less technical, less skilled than myself, who were senior this and principal that, and were making way more than me. So when presented with an opportunity to go work for a startup, they gave me an offer I couldn't refuse. And so I left. And so now I work for Cybersecurity. I came in, they immediately gave me a senior level position, which is awesome. And so it's nice after all that time of begging to be a senior at one company, other company says, hey, yo, come in and we're going to already put you in senior. And so that being the case, I was a senior level by title, but when I came in, there were guys that were way more advanced than me, but I closed the gap on them real fast. Like within about 2-3 weeks, I was like, yo, I know y'all will have this 2-month transition plan, but I want to get in the game like yesterday. Okay, like put me in, coach. I literally said that. And so they threw me in, man. And all of a sudden, like, you know, I'm doing like pen testing with Metasploit. We are using another solution for automatic pen testing. I'm doing that. And don't get me wrong, I prepared because I've been doing red teaming on Hack the Box, you know, a little bit of try hack me, but mostly Hack the Box, you know, going to InfraGard meetings, ISSA meetings, doing CTFs and stuff like that. So, you know, I'd already been working on my skills. And so that's why I kind of like outgrew my previous role anyway, because I was just growing at a rate that was faster and I didn't know my worth, you know, had total imposter syndrome completely because I didn't know. And it wasn't until I left that I came to understand just what my true cybersecurity value was. And so anyway, they threw me in, and then all of a sudden, you know, within January, so this was November to January, I'm starting to have my first companies that I'm consulting with, shadow some of the guys that were there, learn some of the things, saw some things that could be done better. And so I just kind of started like making note. And so I was able to quickly kind of figure out like, yo, this is how you do the job. And a lot of times, once again, an imposter syndrome will come in, it'll kick you in your butt. And you think, oh my gosh, well, surely these guys who are senior level, they know way more than me. I couldn't see anything that was, you know, better or a better way to do anything. And that's the kind of stuff you tell yourself. But the reality it is, I did have some very innovative ideas. And so over time, I was able to implement those ideas. So from January of 2022 all the way until December 22, I continued to gain like members and companies I was working with. And then it got to the point where I was literally the person who was working with the most companies of all the other consultants. So crazy, huh? Not consultant, all of a sudden I got literally the most members and I'm completely strung out. And so lots of these members are some, you know, a lot of them may be smaller, but a lot of them were pretty decent size, like significantly huge companies, you know? And so a lot of companies, a lot of sizable companies, and I was doing okay. And I really did ramp up like extremely fast. Never thought that I would be doing something like this, but honestly, it's because once you figure out what you can do, it makes it easier to take bigger steps and stuff like that. And so over time, like I worked my way up, and it was pretty cool because I was encouraged when I first came to the company to like, hey, speak out, speak up, because you came from a company where they weren't necessarily that open for you really like bringing challenging ideas. But here they encouraged me to constantly speak out. So shout out, you know who you are if you watch this video, shout out to you, because I kept speaking out. And that person who was my boss at the time, no longer, and what they've gone to another company. And what I figured out is in this industry, once you get into cybersecurity, a lot of people that you know and work with go to other companies. People move around a lot. So all of a sudden you've got contacts at all kind of companies in the industry. You're like, wow. So if you ever like need a job in the future, there's a person who may be hiring that you know. So one important thing to recognize is that it's all about relationships in this field. People think it's about doing your Hack the Box, your Try Hack Me, your Network Plus, your Security Plus. It's about relationships. And so because I do have relationships, I have people that I've come across, so customers and former team members who've moved on in the industry. And it's really, really cool because all of a sudden the cybersecurity industry becomes really small. wrong. So with that being the case, after doing a year or so, our current director of solutions is moving on. And so because I had already been doing a lot of things that were not just part of my role, but I was actually doing things that were actually like kind of already pushing into that role, when he decided that he was going to move on and he got an opportunity that he couldn't refuse, then it opened up things so that I could actually move into that space, and I was a natural fit for that space. And so there's nothing more fulfilling than you being recognized by a team that is internal and them not going out and like bringing somebody in from outside the company, but recognizing your talent and say, yo, I think we got Kendrick here. He's a good fit. We're going to bring Kendrick in and we're going to put him as a director of solutions. So this is the first time ever. I literally had to leave my company to get a senior tag. And now for me to have a year or just a little bit past a year to be a director level and to actually have the ability to influence things and make changes at a major level, it is the most amazing thing that I've ever experienced. And so I encourage anybody, don't be satisfied just being an analyst. Do your best as an analyst. Move all the way up the chain to your senior analyst, to a consultant. Move around, challenge yourself, take new adventures, because once you do, it's life changing. So like the thing is, I've been like really in tough situations where we had a lot of hours to do. So once you've done a lot of hours, you're not necessarily fearful of working a lot of hours. Once you've been under really high stress before, you're not necessarily fearful of being under a lot of stress anymore. And so all these things work together and they're part of your growth. So if you're sitting right now and you're in a position where you're really discontent and you have an opportunity to go, and maybe it's a little bit challenging, maybe it's a little scary, then you have to take time and weigh that, like, okay, if I stay where I am now, is that going to benefit me? Like if I stay with my previous company, I would not be a director. I would not be a manager. I may be a senior level person, and I can tell you I would not be compensated the way that I am now. But if you step out there, a lot of times you'll grow in so many ways, not just pay, but you'll grow as a person. And all of a sudden, it's just like speaking in public. The more you do it, the better you are at it. And that's kind of what happened to me at this point. I'm really excited because I'm okay being uncomfortable at this point. I'm okay like taking on things that I've never experienced before. Yes, I may have like those butterflies, I may have that nervous feeling, but I'm able to kind of like work through it. And I understand it's part of the process. So I want to encourage you, once again, this is at the end of the video. Probably should have put this, but I do have a mentorship program and it is priced at $1,200. Why is it priced $1,200? Because I can't afford to, based on my time, work with 100 people, but I can work with 2 to 3 people and help you all to get a job. And did I mention that one of the people that's actually on my team, I mentored? He came from sales all the way to cybersecurity, and I mentored him. We did 8 months of mentorship. And what I have in the cybersecurity program is I have a lot more focused time in this program that I built out, because the thing is, it was 8 months because we didn't know at the time what the best route was for him. So he took his Network Plus certification. He failed it. Even after he was studying, he was really prepared for it. He just didn't test well. But after we had a conversation, I was like, dude, if this is what you want to do, forget the Network Plus and Security Plus. Let me teach you cybersecurity. And so we did. And he is literally one of the best teammates, like literally killing it on the job. Everybody recognizes his effort because you know what? He had hard work, dedication. His character was amazing. He was humble and he was willing to keep learning. And literally everything I threw at him, and I'm a tough mentor, he took in stride. So I know this is a lot on the video, but hey man, I just want to share the real, and I want to like document this day so I can look back at my own life and say like, wow, like that was the day. That was the day I became a cybersecurity director. Man, how cool is that? So, and I hope this gives you hope, because I had imposter syndrome. I always felt like I was never the smartest person in the room, and I worked my way past that. So the best way to get past the imposter syndrome is to work your butt off until you have enough skills, and your skills will speak for itself. It'll help. I can't guarantee it. I'm not a psychologist. It's not mental health advice, but that's what worked for me. Okay. Anyway, if this video is helpful, watch another video. I got some PowerShell tutorials. I'll link them right here. I also got some very good Advent of Cyber exercises that I went through that show you pretty much everything you need to do to learn cybersecurity. It covers everything. So feel free to go through that series. I got them both linked here. Thanks for watching. Check it out.